you know that little voice inside your head? The one that's kind of narrating your entire life? Well, today we're prying open the mental toolkit. We're going to figure out how to take the controls of that internal dialogue and bit by bit start writing a brand new story for ourselves.
So here's a question for you. Are your thoughts in charge of you? I mean, do they ever trap you in this endless loop of self-criticism or what-ifs? If you've ever felt like your own mind is your toughest critic, then yeah, you know exactly how powerful that inner script can be.
And that voice, that looping narrative, that's what we're calling your mind's inner script. Just think of it like a movie script that's running 24/7 in the background. It's the story you're constantly telling yourself about yourself. And believe me, this isn't just random noise. This script is a really powerful force. It literally dictates how we interpret everything: our wins, our losses, our relationships, every single challenge we face. It's the lens through which we see our entire reality. The trouble is, this script can get stuck playing some really unhelpful scenes over and over. Do any of these sound familiar? Beating yourself up for every little mistake, or catastrophizing, where one tiny worry just spirals into the absolute worst-case scenario. Or maybe that black and white thinking, where if it's not perfect, it's a total disaster. These are like common bugs in our mental software. So why on earth does this script have so much power over us? Well, to get that, we need to look at a core principle, this direct, totally unbreakable link between what we think and how we feel. And this leads us right to the central idea of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Here it is, the big aha moment. It's not the event itself that makes us feel happy, or sad, or angry. It's our interpretation of the event. It's the story we tell ourselves about what just happened that actually creates the emotion. And that's a game changer, right? Because while we can't always control what happens to us, we absolutely can learn to control our reaction to it. And get this. This isn't some new age idea that just popped up. As Aaron Beck, the guy who founded cognitive therapy, pointed out, this concept has ancient roots. We're talking thousands of years ago, the Stoic philosophers were teaching the exact same thing, that our inner world isn't shaped by events, but by our judgments about them. Okay, so if we accept that our thoughts are the architects of our feelings, the next logical question is a big one. How in the world do we actually change them? Well, it's time to open up that toolkit and look at some practical, evidence-based tools. Our first tool is a classic, straight out of the CBT playbook. It's a very direct, very active approach called challenge and replace. This is all about becoming a detective of your own mind, putting those unhelpful thoughts on trial. The process itself is surprisingly simple. First, you just have to catch the negative thought as it happens. Just notice it. Then you challenge it. You put it on the witness stand. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? What's the actual evidence for it? And what's the evidence against it? And finally, you replace it. Not with some forced fake positivity, but with a more balanced, more realistic thought that actually fits the facts. But what about those thoughts that are just sticky? You know, the ones that don't feel illogical, they just feel heavy. Arguing with them can feel like wrestling with smoke. That is where our second tool comes in. Instead of fighting our thoughts, we're going to learn to just step aside. The technique is called diffusion, and it's all about observing. So diffusion is basically the skill of getting some distance from your thoughts. The goal here isn't to make them vanish. It's to see them for what they are, just words, pictures, and feelings passing through your mind. When you create that little bit of space, you rob them of their power to control you. To really get a feel for this, I want you to try a quick exercise with me. Seriously, try it. It's called the hands as thoughts metaphor, and it's an amazing way to experience the difference between being tangled up in your thoughts and just observing them. Okay, so wherever you are, just imagine for a second that your hands are your thoughts. Now, slowly bring them up right in front of your face, palms facing you, until they're basically covering your eyes. So you're looking at the world through the gaps in your fingers. See how that feels? It's hard to see anything else, isn't it? You're totally disconnected from the world around you. This is what psychologists call fusion. When you're completely wrapped up in your thoughts, they become your entire reality. All right, now, very slowly lower your hands back down into your lap. Just notice that difference. As you create that space, you can see the room around you again.
You can still see your hands, right? But they're no longer blocking your view of everything else.
And that, right there, that is diffusion. Your thoughts are still there. You haven't made them go away, but you are no longer entangled in them. You can see them, acknowledge them, and still live your life. They don't have to run the show anymore.
So, we've covered defense. Now it's time to play some offense. Our third tool is all about proactively building a new, more positive script through self-affirmation. And look, before you write this off as just happy talk, let's actually look at the science behind it. Here's what's so important to understand. Effective self-affirmations aren't just generic feel-good phrases. The secret is making them specific to your core values. And this is key, believable to you. So instead of just saying, I am successful, you could try something like, I am persistent and creative when I face a challenge. See the difference? You're actively reinforcing a quality that truly matters to you. And this isn't just theory. We can actually see it happening inside the brain. fMRI studies have shown that when people practice self-affirmation, it literally lights up the parts of the brain associated with reward and positive value. You're basically training your brain to connect your core values with good feelings, which builds resilience from the inside out. And if you're a numbers person, check this out. A huge meta-analysis, we're talking data from over 17,000 people, found that these simple exercises lead to real, significant improvements in well-being. It's pretty compelling stuff. So let's do a quick recap of your new mental toolkit. You've got the detective's lens to challenge and replace thoughts. You've got the observer's perspective to detach and observe with diffusion. And you have the builder's blueprint to reinforce and rebuild with affirmations. 3 totally different approaches for any situation you might face. We've seen that the internal stories we tell ourselves have incredible power. But here's the most important part. They are not set in stone. You are the author. So the only real question left is, now that you have the tools to pick up the pen, what story are you going to write?